If you are getting as tired of matzah as we are, and if you are as sad to start Shabbat with matzah instead of challah as we are, I invite you to stay tuned immediately following our service. That beautiful opening music provided by our very own Rebecca Clausen on violin and by Dr. Jennifer Ellis on harp, who is going to be joining us for a special concert immediately following services. Start thinking about your requests now. It is so good to be together with you in this space.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad, Hine ma tov ma na'im. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad, Hine ma tov ma na'im. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad, Hine ma tov ma na'im. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad, Hine ma tov ma na'im. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad.
This is the confluence of Shabbat and Chol HaMoed Pesach, the Sabbath that occurs in the middle of Passover that changes our Shabbat prayers just a bit. In a traditional Ashkenazic community, we would omit all of Kabbalat Shabbat, those songs, those psalms that uplift Shabbat as a special day. For indeed, it's a special day not only because of Shabbat, but for Passover as well. And perhaps just as we cover the challah that I'm still dreaming about when we say the blessing over wine, lest it feel sad, so too would we not want Passover to feel left out. Emily and I talked about it a little bit and decided instead of leaving one out and diminishing both, that we would do our best to uplift both, not only Shabbat, but Passover as well. And these next words come from Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, the Megillah, traditionally associated with Passover.
Dodi li vani lo haroeh Bashoshanim, Dodi li, Vanilo, Haroeh, Bashoshanim, Dodi li, Mizotola, Min Hamidbar, Mizotola min hamidbar. Dodi li vanilo haroeh bashoshanim. Dodi li mikuteret mor levona. Moru levona, dodi li, vanilo haroeh, bashoshanim, dodi li.
Throughout our service tonight, you'll hear those familiar Shabbat favorites as well as melodies unique to Passover. In our next prayer, as we kindle the lights of Shabbat, we get to combine both Shabbat and Yom Tov into one prayer. We continue on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
And on page 5 is our Shabbat prayer, our Shabbat Kiddush, recognizes the exodus from Egypt. We chant it in its entirety. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pori hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'avav ratzon hinchilanu zicharon l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Welcome, Shabbat Shalom, to everyone who is joining us for our Shabbat evening service as we recognize Shabbat, as we recognize the final day of Passover. We've made it. Leavened food, pizza, burgers, they're all right around the corner. And we salivate over each of them as we continue giving thanks for this day, giving thanks for the sacred community. We join together now on page 12, words of Lechu Neranenah.
Lechu Neranenah, lai 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 lai, l'Adonai, yai lai 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 lai, Nahariya. Letzor Yishayinu, yai dai 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 dai. Let us sing out to God, maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear God's song. Lechu Neranenah, yai dai 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 dai. Nahari l'Adonai, yai dai 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 dai. Nahariya, yai dai 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 dai. Letzor Yishayini, yai dai 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 dai. For all of God's wonders and all of God's might, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our heart to hear God's voice. Lechu Neranenah, yai dai 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 dai. L'Adonai, yai dai 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 dai. Nahariya, yai dai 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 dai. Letzor Yishayinu, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai.
Well, Ashkenazic custom is to leave out parts of Kabbalat Shabbat that we don't recognize one holiday over the other. Sephardic custom is to simply make changes and tweaks to our prayers. It has become the Reform movement standard when we chant Lecha Dodi to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And Emily and I were teasing a little bit. We don't know exactly when that became set in stone, but it's a Sephardic custom on this Shabbat, when Shabbat and Passover coincide, to do verses 1 and 2, and then 8 and 9, the first two and the last two, omitting the middle stanzas, recognizing the specialness of this day. And we invite you to join with us on pages 20 and 21.
Lecha Dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabelah. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, yishmi'anu elam echad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'lid hilah. Lecha Dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabelah. Lecha Dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabelah. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki hi mekor habracha. Merosh mikerem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshvat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabelah. Lecha Dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabelah. Yamin u'smol tifrotzi, ve'et Adonai taritzi. al yarish ben partzi, v'nismecha v'nagid laha, lecha dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabel lecha dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabel Boi v'shalom ater bala, gam v'simcha uvtzola, toch emunei hamsegula, boi challah, lecha dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabel lecha dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekabel.
We welcome one another. We welcome Shabbat as our ancestors did. We welcome God's ministering angels. We welcome this Shabbat, the Lewick family and the Richardsons, the Barnetts and the Vatzes, and everyone who is joining us from near and far as we sing our way into Shabbat and the final day of Passover. Words of Shalom Aleichem can be found in your prayer book on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Yon, Nihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yon, Nihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
On pages 26 and 27, teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba, Na'amad yivrach tev yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, bagala bagala, uv'izman kari v'yimeru, Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach, Le'alam lo me'amaya, Yitbarach v'yishabach, v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal, Shemei l'kudusha b'richu, Le'elam yimcho birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alama, v'yimeru. Amen. We continue now, page 28, our Baruch Hu praise, inviting you to rise in place and spirit as we join together in song and prayer.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach.
day such as this one gives us so much to be grateful for, so much to look forward to in the day. Something that I have been looking forward to all day long. Immediately following our Shabbat service this evening, Dr. Jennifer Ellis joins us for a special concert. She is family friends with our beloved Keith and Meg Abrams, and I'm so excited that we were able to bring her into this community, at least virtually, the whole way from the Bay Area. Much more on that later, but I encourage you to stick with us through the end of services and beyond, something to look forward to in each and every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opening the gates, thoughtfully arranging and altering the time and changing the seasons. You arrange the stars in their heavenly course according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-loving God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. The watchwords of our faith, Shema Yisrael, pages 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lektecha v'aderech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We honor Shabbat by chanting words of Mi Chamocha on page 40, this prayer reminiscent of the words that our ancestors sang when they achieved freedom, crossing the Sea of Reeds, making their way out of Egypt. And we honor Passover this day by continuing with Miriam's song, one of the unsung heroes of the wandering through the desert. These words can be then found on page 342.
The now sung heroes.
That's true.
The now sung. Yay, lay, lay, la, lay, la, 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 lay, yay, lay, lay, la, 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 lay, yay, lay, la, lay, lay, ya, la, 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 lay, yay, la, lay, lay, ya, la, 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 lay. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nera b'kodesh, nor atahilot osefele, nor atahilot osefele. Malachutecha u'vanecha, b'keyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amaru, ze'elianu ve'amaru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yay, lay, lay, la, lay, la, 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 lay, yay, lay, lay, la, 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 lay, yay, lay, la, lay, lay, ya, la, 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 lay, yay, la, lay, lay, ya, la, 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 lay. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea. The wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would march to freedom and cross to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long.
Uplifting Passover and Shabbat, we continue with a prayer of thanksgiving, a prayer asking God, thanking God for spreading God's shelter of peace over us on the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. And on page 45, these words set to prayer by Dan Nichols, preparing us for our Amidah to come in but a moment.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind, joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Eternity utters a day.
As we continue with our Amidah, with our standing prayer, I invite you to elevate in spirit or in place. We continue on page 48 and watch out for page 50. Shabbat, the Mincha service after the first day of Passover, marks the beginning of our prayers for dew instead of for rain. So we make the switch in the second prayer of our Amidah to Morid Hatal and work on getting back into the flow of that. Everything is different this Shabbat.
Even though it snowed this morning here.
Even though it snowed, we still pray for dew. I guess it's praying for the snow to stop. That word?
Sure.
Kinda?
Sure.
We continue page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov,
Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chaserot B'imahot, U'mevii Geulah Livnei Bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Abim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidam Melech, Melech Memit Mechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh U'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. This section of our prayers ends with a prayer with a request for peace in Oseh Shalom, these words found on the bottom of page 62 in your prayer book.
Oseh Shalom, Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen.
Even when we ask for this sense of peace, this sense of prayerfulness, this sense of calm in our hearts, we recognize that there are those for whom this isn't a Sabbath of peace, those who are struggling with ailments of mind, of body, of spirit. We think their names in our heads, we hold their names on our hearts, we say their names aloud perhaps, we type their names into the comment box if you so wish, that we might all concert our efforts, our energies, our prayers to guide the hand of their care teams for God's presence for each of us to be with them. We hold them all in our hearts as we pray Mishaberach Lecholim, found on page 253.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha L'imahotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imahotenu Mikor HaBracha L'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Jewish tradition loves ritual, loves it. From the order of lighting the Hanukkah candles, and remember that we put them in from left to right, but light them from right to left, to the order of the Seder meal, and remember that Seder literally means order, to the sacrificial practices mentioned in the Torah. Ritual is everything. Did you know that Jewish tradition even dictates what shoe you should put on first in the morning? It does. Right shoe first, then left shoe, tie the left shoe, and then tie the right shoe. Yup. I could go into detail from the Talmudic passage, but I suspect you're willing to take my word on that one. Suffice it to say that there is reason and intentionality that transformed even the act of dressing, even that routine, into a ritual. A routine is something that you do, a cycle of repetition that allows each of us to function. That first cup of coffee in the morning, or the second, sometimes the third, before anything else, cleaning out the dryer lint trap after every load. As parents of 2 young children, ensuring all of those steps are done when one goes potty. Routine requires a degree of intention, but ritual goes further still. Rituals are meaningful practices, imbued with purpose that elevate our lives. Working with Evelyn on brushing her teeth before bedtime is a routine. Singing her songs of Jewish and social justice traditions before bed is a ritual. Eating hors d'oeuvres before the main course, before dessert, and not having a snack later is a routine. Adding symbolism and meaning and tradition to each course, as we do during the Seder, is a ritual. Checking off the days on the calendar before something that excites us is a routine. Blessing, focusing, concentrating on each day as we number the days between Passover and Shavuot, that's a ritual. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvot ha'vitzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, God, who commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom shisha yamim la'omer. Today is 6 days of the Omer. Counting the days of the Omer, the period between Passover and Shavuot, between the time of our narrative liberation and the reason for our liberation, is meaningful Jewish ritual. It comes with its own blessings and verbal formulas, which I've just shared for this 6th night of the counting. It comes with opportunities for study and meaning, reading Pirkei Avot on Shabbat afternoon, perhaps reading something from Kabbalah each and every day, meaning that uplifts this sacred time. And counting the days of the Omer reminds each of us to make each day count. How easily the days can slide by, one into the next. As we read earlier in the service, and I quote, "Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways." Jewish tradition loves ritual, the elevation of a routine, and I'd love your help tonight in elevating each of these days. What is it that you do to mark each day as a separate, as a distinct, as an important day worthy of embrace and exploration and excitement? I'm hoping that we can generate a list in the comment box to help lift those of us who are feeling caught in the doldrums of COVID and our COVID routines. What do you do to say, hey, today can be different? Today is different. Emily, can I put you on the spot? What's one thing you do to make each day just a little bit different?
Well, does it count if I do something that is different each day? So one of the things that I try to do with the kids is that we try to do something interesting, something different every day. So whether it's like going out to a playground or taking out the science box, which is not necessarily my favorite, but something fun that is their favorite, or doing a cooking project or something like that. I try to do one thing like that in their day and count that as a success, because sometimes it's the little things that make each day successful. And then for my personal fulfillment, I try to just have a moment of gratitude every night, just to be thankful for things that are in my life.
I'd love to hear those things that you do to mark each and every day as different. One of those things that I try to do is set out an accomplishable goal for each day. Here's a list of what I'm going to try to do today, how I'm going to make this day meaningful. Sometimes it's emails or work projects, sometimes it's going on a walk or run, sometimes just having the list can make something a little bit special. Robin shares that when she writes what she's grateful for in a journal while having coffee in the morning, a tremendous transformation of the routine of having coffee into the ritual of making each day count. I'm curious what else you might do that is part of your ritual, part of your counting of the Omer. How do you separate, how do you make distinct each and every day? How do you strive to imbue it with meaning? There are many things that we might do, and as those comments continue to come in, I invite you to continue looking at that list in the hopes that we can each find something that compels us, that inspires us, that embraces the spirit of counting the Omer. Beth writes, living in a new place where you can see the sky each day, being grateful for the little things. Marianne says, reading a daily meditation on each day to think about throughout the course of that day. Whatever we're doing, we're counting, we're recognizing the days between Passover and Shavuot, from the Exodus from Egypt to the giving of Torah, and we're looking to not only count the days, but to make each and every day count. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may that be in accordance with God's will. We turn back in our prayer books now, back in our Sidurim, as we begin the process of concluding our service before we invite in our very special guest to be with us for a concert. More on that in just a moment. For now, we continue words. Forgot which camera I was supposed to be looking at. We continue now, page 282, on the bottom of the page, Aleinu L'Shabeach, inviting you to rise in spirit or in place.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon HaKol, l'ateit gedula l'yotzer Bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, V'yom ha'hu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. Words of Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 294. And before we join together in this prayer, we remember those who have gone before us. The Shabbat, we mark the yahrzeit to the commemoration of the passing of Lester Abrams, Rebecca Ballin, Betty Rudoy Barnett, Stephen Baskin, Phyllis Boudin, Bessie Cohen, Miriam Dreyfus, Albert Fabricant, Kathy Fabricant, Tibor Ferenczi, Gertrude Raphael Goldman, Libby Goldstock, Bernice Gordon, Philip A. Herman, Albert Hillman, Israel S. Kornberg, Dorothy Levinson, Robert Liebenson, Esther Miller, Tybee Morris, Julius Pepper, Mary Pomerantz, Anna Ray Rosen, Morris I. Rudoy, Marie G. Scheinholz, Mark Siegler, William D. Siegel, Julius Silverstein, Charlotte H. Silverstein, Phyllis Stahl, Paul Stamen, Rose Rodney Stamen, Shelley W. Stein, Isidore Weiss, Esther Watsman Wiseman, and Ethel Weiss.
Yehei zichronam livracha. May their memories be for us an everlasting blessing. I invite you at this time to share aloud the names of others of whom you are thinking, to share perhaps their name in the comment box that we might remember, and may the memories that come flooding back be a patch over the hole in our broken hearts. We pray that their memories are an eternal blessing as we continue together words of Kaddish Yatom, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya, Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God, who makes peace in the highest of heavens, make peace for us and for all who mourn. And together we say, Amen. In just a few moments, after a concluding song that will give us a chance to get comfy in our spaces, it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Jennifer Ellis to join us for a special concert. You got to hear some of her music along with Rebecca Clausen as we were counting down to tonight's service. She brings a tremendous gift of spirit, of energy, of harp, and I hear she may even be taking requests. So start thinking about what may be on your heart for later in our evening. It is a way of uplifting this day and making this day count. I'm so grateful to the many ideas in the comment box, things that you do to make each and every day count. And I hope we're each able to find one of those things that we do as we number these days between Passover and Shavuot. So I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, a Chag Sameach. May it be a joyous, a happy last day of Passover, as well as a day of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hashem,
I'm so excited to be here this evening with Dr. Jennifer Ellis. Hi, there you are. One of the challenges of this software is it puts us in different parts of the screen. How are you this evening? I am so glad to have you with us. So first, tell me just a little bit more, remind me the connection. Meg Abrams knows your mom in Chicago and...
So Meg Abrams know my mother-in-law, Linda Unger, who goes to Road Bay Civic in Chicago. And we connected you and I. So thank you to Linda Unger, thank you to Megan Abrams. This has been really a lovely connection.
I'm so delighted as well, and I'm delighted to have you with us. Well, we have a number of folks who have joined us for this evening, and I'm so excited. They didn't come to hear me talk, but rather to hear you. And Jennifer, I'm so grateful for your being with us. Let me turn it over to you.
All right, thank you so much. us off with a little Shalom Alechem. I see that some people found it to be a little soft, so I will play louder. I'll also turn up my mics a little, and hopefully that will do the trick. So, I also know from experience that sometimes headphones work better. But I thought I wanted to start us with Shalom Alechem to welcome in the peace of Shabbos, because that's really my hope for this evening. That I want to give us a chance in this very stressful pandemic time, in this very lively holiday of Passover, which also can be a rather stressful holiday of Passover with all the cleaning and the cooking and the logistics. In this midst of the stressful time, help usher in Shabbat, help usher in this sense of peace and this sense of calm and this sense of joy. So, from Shalom Alechem, I thought I would move to Hine Matov, because it really is so wonderful to all be together, even when that togetherness is over the internet. I am so glad that I can join you today. With that Hine Matov, however, I also want to share that you are more than welcome to ask questions, to make comments. I'll do my best to respond, and I believe Rabbi Meyer will help me field some of the questions coming in as well. And so if there's any questions you have, any feedback, any comments, please do feel free to chime in. I am hoping this volume's a little better for you, but if not, let me know. I can turn my mics up more. All right, thanks so much. Thank you. I'm hoping that mic setting worked a little better. If not, please let me know in the comments. And I'm adjusting the mic one other move. Hopefully that does the trick. All right. So from that welcome all together, I wanted to play next a piece by Debbie Friedman, such an incredible light in Jewish music. And in particular, I wanted to play her piece, Im Tirtzu. And Im Tirtzu, if you will it, it is no dream, is the translation. If you will it, it is no dream. And I just was thinking about that quote in relation to this pandemic and thinking about what we've been dreaming about this pandemic, the sense of community that we're dreaming about during this pandemic, and how we can help build that, how we can help build our community, build those dreams, and bring it into our post-pandemic lives. favorite Sue, from thinking about our dreams, I thought we could move to Do Di Li and Erev Shel Shoshanim, two classic, beautiful, meditative Jewish songs. And I'm particularly partial to this melody of Do Di Li. In fact, I picked it to walk down the aisle to when I got married. But I actually remember learning this melody for the first time on Passover when I was a very young child. And so for the Passover connection, because it's one of my favorite pieces, both, I thought it would be a great piece to share with you tonight. And I see some comments in the chat from Suzanne saying that she's never seen a harp before. I'm so glad you get to meet one today. I'm very biased and partial to it, but it's got 47 strings and actually over 2,000 moving pieces. So it's sort of a monster of a machine for all that it sounds very delicate. It's about 6'1" and it weighs about 90 pounds. So a lot of fun to lug into a car and out of a car and back into a car. You don't need to go to a gym when you're lifting a harp all day, but it's definitely something I love. So I'm glad you can join us today, Suzanne. Erev Shal Shoshanim. Evening of roses, let us go out to the grove. Myrrh, perfumes, and frankincense is the carpet under your feet. Erev Shal Shoshanim. I'm seeing some beautiful comments in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that the music is coming through, first of all, and that you are enjoying it. So, from Erev Shal Shoshanim, I wanted to move to a Passover song. It's a strange Passover perhaps this year, but a good one. Last year, I was just in my apartment with my spouse on Zoom for Seders. This year, I got to have an outdoor Seder with a total of 3 people. And who knows what next year can hold? Maybe we'll have a full Seder again. So with that, looking forward to next year, I thought I'd share some Adir Hu. Jewish dances, because I've missed the folk dancing that used to happen after services. And I thought that even if we aren't doing a lot of communal folk dancing at the moment, we might still enjoy the chance to be able to enjoy the music from these folk dances. And if you at home happen to do these folk dances by yourself, I won't tell anybody. So I would encourage you to give some of them a try if you've been missing folk dances like I have. lovely comments in the chat. I see, never thought of the harp as a solo instrument. Absolutely. When we're in the orchestra, we're like tucked in the very back. We play once every 100 bars or so. So it's a very different context to get to hear the harp solo as opposed to in a large ensemble, in which I will admit we barely play. So thank you so much for this lovely feedback. And Leslie, that is so kind. I am so glad to be able to share in that memory. Thank you. Okay, so from here, I'd like to do a Misha Berach, because I just want to bring that request for healing into this world. And Debbie Friedman actually wrote this arrangement of Misha Berach in response to the AIDS crisis. I don't think a lot of people know that history of this Misha Berach. It's such a familiar melody, and yet it was in response to the AIDS pandemic. And I think bringing it in as we fight another pandemic today has a really special resonance. Thank you. So I just have two more that I will definitely stay after to answer questions or chat or whatever you would like. And my next two, I'm going to start with Eli, because I know that something that's been so helpful for me over these past many months is nature and its consistency amidst it all, its continuity, the sand in the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. So I want to thank everyone again. Thank you so much for being here, for listening. I want to thank again Keith and Meg Abrams and their connection through Linda and Rabbi Myers for just putting us in touch. I want to thank Rabbi Myers for being so kind as to just reach out to someone that they didn't know and just get in touch and talk about making this a possibility for tonight. It has truly been my honor and my joy to get to prepare these songs for you this week, to be able to share this Jewish music, to be able to usher Shabbat into my own home. I'm in California, so I am helping to bring in the spirit of Shabbat this evening over here, and I just really want to thank you all. In that spirit of bringing in that Shabbat peace, I want to end with Shalom Rav.
Dr. Ellis, on behalf of a grateful Temple Emmanuel community, thank you for sharing your time, your talents, your gifts with each of us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been such a joy. Thank you for the many kind comments in the chat, and just thank you for arranging this. I'm really grateful and glad to share Shabbos with Temple Emmanuel from afar here.
Truly a silver lining of the pandemic.